Hello, hello. Happy, amazing morning to you. We're on our late start this morning, which is amazing. You got to sleep in a little bit today. And I want to touch on some things, some energy, some things that I feel and what's happening in my world and share it with you. And that is, in my life, a lot of new information has been shared with me and some people I love too. And sometimes information and knowledge can feel like a burden. Sometimes it can feel really challenging to navigate. I know for me it feels like that sometimes. Maybe you learn something new in your personal life with the people around you and your relationship to them or your connection. Maybe you simply learn something new about a small, seemingly insignificant thing. Or maybe something comes into your awareness that feels like it's much bigger. It feels like it has a much deeper and heavier impact on your world and those around you. And I imagine there are a lot of people feeling many different things in our world right now. And because of where we are at, because of our environment, because of the knowledge that we have, the learning, the experiences we all have in life that all dictate our perception of life and what is true, we're all going to navigate a little differently. So I don't mean to speak very mysteriously or vaguely. There's just a lot happening in our world, and sometimes it's really challenging to navigate it all. Sometimes it's hard to find the balance when so many people are shouting from different sides, or many sides. I think there's probably far more than two. And it's difficult to find maybe what we might call the truth, somewhere in the middle. And then not only finding what we might feel or identify as the truth, but also holding this truth and now living our life in a certain way with this truth. How does it impact our life? How do we navigate life with this knowing? So today, because I can feel it in my heart, and even some people I love can feel it, maybe the heaviness of everything going on, and where do we stand, and what do we believe, and who's telling the truth, and what is the truth, and how do I deal with that, and how do I allow it to change my life, or do I allow it to change my life? All of that energy sometimes can feel really heavy. I imagine there are people inside of hospitals working on the front lines who have a particular opinion and perspective about things. And there are people who are so far removed from that have a different perspective. Different people all over the world, let alone those people in our world here with us. And so dealing with that in our lives, I use the word navigating a lot because I think that's how I feel in my life often, is everything happening is all about navigation. So I'm constantly seeking and aiming to better my navigation tool so that I can walk, sit, run, sprint, crawl through this journey as best as I can. And hopefully be a positive example of doing that to encourage and inspire others to do the same. So, I titled today about making our heaviness light, because I think it's a really, really important tool, gift, ability in order to take the things at moments that are really challenging and make them feel a little bit easier to deal with. So let's do that today. Whatever that feels like for you, the many differences that people around you have, the many different opinions. This isn't about trying to be right. This is about identifying your role in this experience you're having and taking the aspects of it that are challenging, maybe even sometimes heavy, and identifying how we can best approach those and navigate through life in a way that still feels good to us and is still powerful and productive to those around us, or ecological, which is good for self, good for those around, and good for the whole. I suppose that's another way of aiming to live my life, is doing my very best to be ecological. What is good for myself, what is good for those around me, and what is good for our whole. And all of us are going to have a different role in that. And so it always comes back to, this is why I do what I do in my life as a mindset coach, and why I work with people who have influence. Because we must get ourselves and our mind, our operating system right in a space that feels good. And this is how we best navigate those heavy challenges in life. So I'm excited today because every time we learn something new, we create new neural pathways. Our brain and our body is creating new cells, becoming healthier, and it's a gift. And I liken the discomfort that we have sometimes like growing pains, right? When kids grow and their joints and things get sore, it's because their bodies are expanding. And I think sometimes my heart feels that way, that when I'm learning things and growing, that it's expanding, and sometimes it can feel a little bit painful, you know? We're stretching to get better. And so today, if there is anything in your world that maybe feels a little bit challenging, or maybe everything's flowing beautifully and wonderfully and you really want to expand upon that. But especially if there's things in your world that feel heavy, let's set those down today. Let's give them permission to exist without judgment. And let's best identify how, regardless of the challenges, we can still choose to be a source of light and to emit light. That feels better. So as always, I'm going to sit open-handed and open-hearted. And for our meditation today and our breath work today, maybe just think about how you can set any heaviness, any differences, any fears, any pain down for a moment to clear your mind, your body, your spirit, to be receptive to love. If we are always operating on a frequency of love, then we are in resolution. Do what love requires, always, every time. So let's begin with our breath. Let's begin with deep diaphragmatic breathing, expanding in our belly, expanding in our chest, and then slowly letting it out. And the way that we do this is we breathe slowly in order to achieve 6-second count breath in and a 6-second count exhalation. Why breath? Because nothing brings you to the present like breath. Breath brings you right here. Not in the past in some experience, however joyful or painful. Oftentimes in our human condition that means painful. And not in the future in some state of fear about our lack of control for changing it or impacting it or manipulating it, but just here. Just here with your breath, learning and allowing that to be enough. So let's breathe deeply in. And exhale, letting go. Doing our best to let go of any heaviness we might be feeling. Breathe deeply in. Just be right here with your breath. You will always know you are present when you can simultaneously feel gratitude. because we can certainly always choose gratitude when we are here, in this very moment, connected to our body, which is source energy, which is life. Breathe deep. With every breath in, allowing life and truth to become more embodied within yourself. And with every exhalation, letting go of any heaviness, any fear, any struggle, conflict. Breathe deeply in. As you breathe, just focus on the present, just be here. This is the only fact we have in our life. The truth, it is here. Let's learn to practice being present from a space with which we can make clear, compassionate, honest decisions. Let's take one more big deep breath in. And exhale, letting it all go. So as we observe every area of our lives, at different times, they will feel more full and sometimes empty, and sometimes somewhere in between. Let's first bring to our awareness a space within us or an area of life where we are feeling maybe some pain or some lack or some emptiness, some conflict, struggle, wounding. Allow yourself for just a moment to become aware. Aware of that lack, pain, struggle, something that we deeply wish was different. Let's not be afraid of just allowing our awareness to be upon it. No need to be afraid becoming aware. Just simply be present in your awareness. And now, as you become aware of the discomfort or some area within that you would like to change or you would like to be better, can you notice where that shows up in your body? Do you have any aches or pains? Do you have tension? Are you squeezing? Are you restricting? Begin scanning your body from head to toe slowly. Really tuning into where that pain, that discomfort, that challenge, that struggle, that frustration shows up. Just be an observer. Notice how the body responds to the mind's awareness of something. Notice that the body follows the mind. And as you become aware of any stuck energy, any tension in the body, I want you to imagine your breath is like a gentle squeeze and release of the tension, much like a massage. And so breathe into that space that you feel discomfort, soreness, pain, stuck energy. And as you breathe out, make a sound releasing that energy. Breathe into that discomfort. Make a sound releasing that stuck energy. Let's repeat this a couple more times. Breathe in to that discomfort. Breathe out, releasing. Even the vibration of sound helps to remove stuck energy. One more time, breathe into that discomfort. And exhale. Notice maybe how it feels even a little bit different, maybe a little bit better. In our awareness of discomfort, in our awareness of the area of life where we may feel a little bit heavy, now let's allow ourselves to invite in a different energy. Let's get curious about what the learning is in that discomfort. If pain is a teacher, if every emotion we have is a teacher, then what can we learn from this discomfort? Those learnings that would allow us then to choose to direct our energy, our love, our attention in healthier ways. What is it here to teach us? What is the discomfort in our lives here to teach us? As the unconscious mind gives way to a new learning, we can then apply this new learning, which will then cause us to choose a different response to the learning, which would give us a different outcome of not being inside of stuck energy or pain or suffering. What is our experience with discomfort teaching us? And as we get curious what these lessons are, now allow us to observe and gain insight on the relevance in our own lives. Let us not focus so deeply into the future, but let us just be here and just be aware of how those lessons apply to your life right now. On the very small steps and the very little things that we can do to deepen those lessons, to integrate those lessons into our lives. What is it here to teach me? Where does that lesson apply in my life? Right now, just right in this moment. How can I utilize discomfort to teach me how to choose differently? Just right now. Just tuning into what's coming up. In the stillness of observation, there is no judgment, only learning. Learning to be better, being better to feel better, to do better, to choose better. What am I to do with the learnings that are a gift through this discomfort? And how then can I take heaviness and transform it into light? Let us all be alchemists of love, learning to take our discomfort, our pain, our struggle, our challenge, our burden, and transforming it into love. And in what way will I share this love? And in what way will I give this love? And in what way will I embody this love? How will I listen with love? How will I speak with love? How will I live and show up and be with love? Let us simply adopt the awareness today that our discomfort is simply opportunity to become more light. That our struggle, our pain, our loss, our challenge, our burden is yet the most important teacher we will ever know in this very moment, from which we can learn exactly what we need to learn right now in order to love more, to be more love, to have more love, to do more for the sake of love. Love for ourselves, and therefore love for others. Love for others, and therefore love for ourselves. Today, let us transform heaviness to light. Let us make that choice. Give ourselves permission to be an alchemist of love. Breathe deeply in, diaphragmatically, long, deep breath in. Exhale, releasing any of that energy remaining that is not of love and light. Breathe deeply in. Feel the alchemy happening even within you now. And exhale, letting go. Breathe deeply in. Open up, expand in your diaphragm, your lungs. Expand in your heart, expand in your mind. Exhale, letting go. Breath is so symbolic of how we live. Expanding, opening, learning, releasing what we no longer need. Expanding, opening, learning, and letting go of what we no longer need. Let's take one more big deep breath in. And exhale, releasing any of that stuck energy. So how are you feeling after that one? I feel lighter. Do you feel lighter? Feel lighter. That was good. So it's important in life to learn this skill. Skill in stillness, to be able to be present. It's interesting how the present really is the gift, yeah. And that's why. Because oftentimes much of our turmoil is caused by replaying and living inside of past experiences, or being so fixated on a future that we can't control, and yet here we are, losing the gift that is the present to the attention we spend on the future. So what a beautiful practice today. What a beautiful reminder that we have the ability to choose. And that's a superpower, choice. It's a superpower because a lot of people actually believe they don't have choice. And that comes from being stuck inside of patterns and rhythms and negative loops inside of our mind that act like chains. And so when we free ourselves from those negative loops, those unhealthy patterns, our lack of self-love, well, then we have choice. Not only are we inside of our perceived choice, but we are using our choice to be better. So I'd love to hear from you, as always. If you have anything to share about the heaviness that you've been experiencing, or maybe how it felt to let some go, or how you're going to share your light today, what you're going to do with your light today. I see some of you all watching. Some have hopped on and off. Hi, Malik. It is wonderful to see you again, as always. And I hope today that after this meditation, wherever you're at in your life, at the very least you recognize your ability to create shift by choosing more love, by choosing to be light, to set down our heaviness. We are not given knowledge in order to expand and even use it for it to be a burden. We are gifted, blessed, and fortunate to be able to learn and to be able to practice and then to be able to spread that wisdom. It is a gift. It is a gift. And the only difference between knowledge being a burden and knowledge being a gift is what we decide to do with it, is the perception with which we choose, are the lenses with which we choose to see it through. So I hope today that you are able to really utilize it as a gift. Trella shares, this meditation was great for me today. Very linked with something I am going through at the moment. I am grateful to be able to try and let go of the past completely and to stay focused on my present. I love that. Live and let live. Having the courage to stay focused on my own path and accept someone for who they are and let them go on their own path. That is beautiful, Trella. Really. And I love it. I'm right there with you. That is love. That is showing up with more love. Love for ourselves in accepting things as they are, letting it live and letting it live, and accepting others and their decision to do the same in a way that they choose. That is our freedom of choice. And so on one hand, we can't celebrate it and say it's good, and then on the other hand, knock it down and create tension and conflict with others because they're exercising that beautiful freedom to choose. And maybe if we come from a space of love, we can truly appreciate that they're choosing what they feel in that moment is exactly what they need. And who are we to decide it any differently? Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much for all of you, for sitting here with yourself, for connecting to others, for being a part of resolution in life. Because the more you water your roots and the more others choose to water theirs, this is how we come together and rise together and elevate together. As always, I love you so much. You are enough, and I hope you know your worth.